What's up? Welcome to your Self-Helpless Snack, where we give you a little taste of the Self-Helpless podcast with a mini episode. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, you can find the full episode linked in this episode's description.
Dreamwork, it's about working with your dreams, learning to actually understand that there's a reason why we dream. And there's still a lot of discussion if dreaming it's more about just creating memories and that's all, like random stories that we make for ourselves. But the more that I go, deep into working with dreams, the more I see like we are people that love meaning making, right? So everything has a meaning for us. And why wouldn't we find meaning in dreams if that's something that we create every single night? And as random as they seem or strange, they usually stay with us sometimes, right? For quite some time, or sometimes they fade away. But there's usually something that is emotional. They evoke emotions. They actually talk about what's at your core. Because we get so distracted in the outside world that sometimes it's only through the dream that we have access to, like, no, this is the way that you're actually feeling. Pay attention, right? There's something here that needs to be listened to. Science has shown that, dreams are made. They help us, get rid of a lot of information that we don't need. They help us solidify memories. They also allow us to rest. We go through many cycles throughout the night, and it's usually at the end of the cycle when we dream, where we are in REM sleep, and we go through it like many times. But it's usually at the end of the night when we dream more. That's why for some people actually, and from some creatives and painters, and what they used to do with dreams, it was waking up at 3 or 4 a.m., like forcing yourself to just wake up so that you can remember what you dreamed about. Or the best dreams happen like maybe at 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. There's something about waking up early that it will help you remember more about it. And we usually sleep or dream sometimes almost like 2 hours a night. It's a lot. And the majority of that we don't remember really. We are living our lives every single day. It's not only what we're experiencing, thinking and feeling. We're always absorbing information, always, all the time. Through sound, our skin, like everything in our senses, it's holding on into information. And then with social media and all of that, like there's a lot of information we get rid of. So we dream a lot, but not everything stays with us, and not everything it's as meaningful. I would say like follow your own lead, and you will know when a dream is meaningful. Or sometimes dreams feel like meaningless, like almost like there was no emotion. And other dreams, you will definitely feel like, this is a different experience.
Yes.
There's so many people like not sleeping well, not dreaming. Of course, they're not regulating their emotions very well, because sleep also helps us regulate emotions. It's a problem. Yeah. It's a problem we are neglecting because we are not understanding the importance of dreaming. We try to avoid feelings sometimes, but there's no way out of it. You need to go through it. Let's go to the cycle. It's going to end. The emotions don't stay as long as we think they do, unless we're trying to avoid them. So the best thing to do is like lean into the emotion. Mm-hmm. Of course, if the emotion it's not allowing you to function, then there's a different issue. There's new research being done about depression and dreaming. They have found that people that are depressed spend a lot more time in REM sleep. And they usually have dreams that are not pleasant. So the more they dream about unpleasant things, the more they are reinforcing in the pathways of their brains that life is not great.
Oh, wow.
So it keeps them in this loop of depression. So they are starting to make more research on what happens if we deprive them of sleep for certain days, if that resets the brain, or should they go to bed earlier and wake up earlier so they stay less time in REM sleep. So there's there's a lot of interesting research being done lately. I think it's going to become like hopefully a new field of investigation, because there's a lot there. And also, like, if you think about the amount of insomnia there's in the world, that would be like a whole different kind of pandemic. Like, are we even dreaming or not? And if we're not dreaming, are we processing enough how we feel? Are we even imagining what's coming next for humanity? Everything was first imagined or dreamt in some way. So we need dreaming. We need dreaming for problem solving. We need dreaming for creativity. We need dreaming to just envision the possibilities that we have. It's imagination, and everything in this world is imagination. Making it real, but everything had to be imagined at some point.
Oh, I love it.
But something that it works very well is writing down your dreams. Even if you feel like you don't remember, maybe, you just like meditate, sit for a moment. If maybe you can remember an emotion, or even if it's just a little tiny image, just doing that, like putting the image or the scribble or whatever came to you, right? Or the whole dream. And the more you do that, the more you train yourself to remember. It's almost like there's this other side of you that's like, oh, she's listening. Let me give her more. Communication with a different side of you that is wanting you to know something. It's almost like the dreaming mind creates different networks than the ones we use when we're awake, right? So it's a different way of thinking and understanding the world. It's more fluid in many ways. That's why everything is possible in dreams, and you can be in your house, open the door, and you're I don't know, on an island. It's this idea of like it moves in expansive ways. So it really helps you to see connections that you usually don't think about when you're awake. The thing about dream work is you can go as deep as you want. It could be a rabbit hole. So I would say the emotion, yeah, to me, like for me, that would be the thing, like checking in, like, how are you really feeling, right? Are you okay or not? Or sometimes if you have like a wild adventure, feel so joyful and happy with that dream, then you need to check in. Am I this joyful in my everyday life, or am I not? And that's why I'm creating this dream, to help me remember, like, it's amazing to feel joy, right? The emotion would be the lead, I would say. And then you can choose how far you want to go, right? Is it about the storyline? Is it about the landscape or the scenario? Is there a specific symbol that is calling your attention? Was there a door or a window or an animal? What is it that's there for you? And that's the beginning of a different conversation, right? If it's a house, think about houses, right? And then you need to think about, it's my body, my own house. Is this dream about the house I grew up in? Is this about my own house? What am I saying to myself? And there's another technique that can be used that it's called, it's almost like embodying different parts of the dream. So for example, going with the idea of the house, like what would happen if for a moment I slow down, I become that house? What am I witnessing? What is happening with the people inside this house? And then it will give you a different perspective from the dream. It's outside the like initial emotion, but it will help you see like, there's other ways of seeing this thing. What if I become this other person, right? And those are called like points of entry or re-entering the dream. You can re-enter the dream as yourself, or you can re-enter the dream as, can I be the house? Can I be the water? Can I be whatever element, showed up in your dream? And what would happen? How can my perspective change if I become that thing? So journaling dreams, it's the best technique. And I know it's hard to do it every single day, but as much as you can, it's useful. It's really having a journal by your side and a pen. So, I mean, some people do it on their phones, but I wouldn't advise, like the light, it's not the greatest thing at 2 a.m. But it's this idea of like, as soon as you wake up, just write something down, right? If in the moment you have the energy of writing everything down, that's the best way to go. Because it happens that you write something, you go back to sleep, you wake up and like have no idea what is this about, right? We do forget. So it's writing down every detail, but as if it were happening in the moment. It's not, I was entering a house. It's, I am entering a house. I am walking. I am running. Really, it's something like going through the dream all over again with all the details that you can, everything that you saw, everything you experienced, especially the emotional aspect of the dream. If it was a pleasant dream, if you were feeling fearful, anxious, in love, like what were you feeling? The feeling, it's the purest thing that comes out in the dream. We create stories, but it's about the feeling. And once you write it down, choose a title. It's somewhat like this dream, it's like a book, and it needs a title. Because the title is going to encapsulate the essence of the dream, and it's going to make it easier for you if you're going through your journal, just reading the titles, and then you'll know, this is what's going on with me, in this past month. So it's easy to track your own emotional changes, I would say. So that's a very good technique. I sometimes don't write them, but I also know that I have enough practice that if I wake up, I stay a little bit in bed. It's almost like I don't move, and I try to go back. I go through the dream 1 or 2 times in my mind. It's different ways of doing it. Sometimes it's in paper, and sometimes it's like, let me experience it again, and then I'll remember the detail.
Thank you for tuning in to Self-Helpless. You can find our brand new merch, Patreon community, and other fun goodies at selfhelplesspodcast.com. We'd be thrilled if you left an Apple Podcast review, shared this episode with a friend, or post about it on Instagram and tag us at Self-Helpless Podcast so we could repost you and say hi. As an independently produced show, we sincerely appreciate your support. Thanks, everybody.